Hello, welcome to the UiPath StudioX screen recording training. I'm Lahiru Fernando. I'm a UiPath MVP, RPA solution architect, and a certified RPA developer. As a part of my community contribution, I have decided to do a video tutorial on how to use the UiPath StudioX screen recording feature to automate usual user interactions with other applications like web applications and desktop applications. So as a part of today's demo, we'll be discussing on the introduction of UiPath StudioX screen recording and how to use the screen recorder to automate certain interactions with the web application. And we'll be also discussing the automatically generated workflow, and finally we'll see it in action. So let's get to the demo. So for today's demo, we'll be using the RPA challenge website, and the data we have in our Excel file will be used to enter those fields in these text boxes and click on the submit button and keep on iterating to enter the data in each and every layout. So you can see that once we click on the submit button, the layout differs. So let's see how we can use the recording feature to identify these text boxes irrespective of the layout and enter the data we have in our Excel file. We'll be using this Excel file and this set of data we have here to update the fields we see in the RPA challenge website. So all these records will be iterated and updated in each and every layout. So let's get back to the workflow and see how we can design this. Okay, so once you create the UiPath Studio project, you will get a similar screen like this for StudioX. First thing we need to do is we need to use the application card to interact with the application that we are going to automate. So basically it is the web application, so we'll be using the use application card. So drag it and drop it into the middle designer panel. So to indicate which application you are going to use, you need to click on the indicate application option. So click on it and indicate the web application. So once you have done it, you can see that it has automatically captured the URL and a screenshot of the web page. The next option is you need to read the data in the Excel file. So we need to use the Excel file card to interact with the Excel application. So let's drag it and drop it inside the user browser uh, activity we just used. Now we need to give the file path to the Excel file. So I'll be using this file. Once you have given the file path, just give the reference. So basically this reference will be used to identify the fields you have in the Excel file. So I'll be using the reference as recording demo data. Now since we have connected with the file, now we need to read the data and loop through it. So to loop through the data, we need to use the for each row activity. So for Excel, we have Excel for each row activity. Drag it and drop it in the middle. Since our Excel file has headers, we need to click on this has headers checkbox. Now we'll be needing to select the range. So click on the small plus button, and under the reference name we gave earlier, we can see that the sheet we are looking at, which is the sheet 1. So we'll select that. Now before getting into the recording, we need to do one small thing. That is, in the web application, we first need to click on the start button, and then only you can iterate through the text boxes we see here. So let's click on the start button first. So to do that, we'll use the click button just before the use Excel file activity. We'll use the click activity for that. Just like we did for the user application card, we just need to indicate the element that we are going to use to click. So we click on indicate target on screen, select the start button, and it will also ask whether it has identified the anchor automatically. So for this one, the no anchor has been found, but it's alright because it's a text the button that we are going to use. So let's just click on confirm, and you can see that it has automatically identified. So we'll be using a single click and a left mouse click. Now we can use the recording feature to record the interactions we are going to do with those text boxes and the submit button. So just keep in mind that using the recording feature will automatically generate the workflow with the interactions we do with the application. So we need to place that workflow within the for each row activity, because all those interactions will be happening for each and every row in the Excel file. So we'll select this activity for now and click on the app/web recorder we see on the top ribbon. So we get a warning message saying that this feature is experimental and we need to enable it by going to project settings, and UI automation next, and select the enable recorder. So let's do that now. So we need to select the project settings, and under UI automation next, if we scroll down, we can see the enable record option. So by default it is set to false, so let's set it to true and click OK. Now we select this activity again and select the blank area where we have the drop activity here. So because we need to have the automatically generating workflow placed inside this activity, and now click on the web recorder option. Right, now you can see that the record is working perfectly and it automatically identifies the element we see in the screen. So as it highlights the activity, the element, it identifies what type of element it is, and depending on that it will automatically create the activities depending on it. Basically, if you are interacting with the text box, it will automatically create type into activities, and if it's a button, it will create a click activity. Additionally, we can see a small option down here where we can also manually select what type of activity we need to use to interact with the highlighted element. So for the time being, we'll let it identify the activity that it needs to interact with the element. So first I will interact with the company name text box. So what I will do is I will highlight it and click on it. As you see, it will automatically identify the anchor as the text box label, the company name, and it automatically identifies the target which I highlighted, and it also gives me an option to select whether I need to empty the field before I type, and it also gives the text box area where I can type whatever the value I need to enter. So for the time being, I will keep the settings as it is and click on confirm. Now on the right hand side, you can see that it has automatically identified it as a text box, and it's using the type into activity to interact with it along with a screenshot. The good thing about the record is we can directly add the values we have in the Excel file through the recorder to interact with the text box. So under the type this property, we can click on the small plus button and select the current row of the Excel file and the field that we need to enter, the company name. So that activity is configured. So likewise, we can interact with all the other text boxes. So let's do that now. So I'll click on the last name and it identifies the anchor as the label, and I'll click on confirm, and that activity is created. So now we'll map the field, the current row, the last name. Similarly, we can do for other fields. The first name, and we are going to map the field. Now for the phone number, instead of clicking it and letting it automatically identify the activity we need, we'll select it from the drop down. So we select type into, and still it automatically identifies the anchor as you see now, and confirm, and that activity is created here. Let's map it with the phone number field, and we'll be doing that for rolling company. And next is the email, and the final text box is the address. Now we need to click on the submit button. So let's see whether it automatically identifies it as a button and will it create a click activity. So let's click on it. Right, now in the record you can see that it has automatically identified it as a button and it's using the click activity. So now along with those activities created, you can also see that the screen has changed and the layout is now different. So we don't need to go through all of these layouts to indicate each and every element, because irrespective of the layout, it should automatically identify the text box depending on the anchor we have highlighted here, and it should automatically type the values that we need in the appropriate text box and click on the button wherever it is on the screen. So now we can see different other options as well in the recorder. We can pause the recording, and we can save, and we can also change the application that we are interacting with. So for the time being, we'll be only using this web application. Hence, we'll just click on save and return to the studio. Now you can see that it has automatically placed the activities that it has recorded inside the for each row activity. So let's explore the activities that it has created. So the type into, it has several properties like empty field, and it is checking whether it's a multi-line or whether it's a single line, and by default it is selected as single line, and it's using the single click. So if we explore the properties under the properties panel, we can see a few additional properties depending on the activity type. So for type into, we have secure text to identify whether it's a password protected field, the timeout fields that are required in certain cases, and few other properties like activate, click before typing, and the input mode. So by default, the input mode is selected same as app/browser. So basically it will use the mouse pointer to click on the element and the keyboard keys to type in the values that we specify. However, if we don't want to use the mouse pointer to move here and there while the automation process is running, we can click on simulate so that it will perform the actions in the background without using the actual mouse pointer or the keyboard. So let's keep the settings as it is for now for the typing. And finally, we can see the submit button. So for the buttons, we have a different set of properties. So for the button, we will use the input mode as simulate so that it should not use the mouse pointer to click on the button. However, it will use it for the text boxes. So let's see how it works. Now, since we have the flow ready, we can run the process and see how it works. So let's close the Excel file and the browser so that we can start it from the beginning. So I'll be closing the Excel file and the website. I will change this to left click. By mistake, I have selected the middle left click. So we'll select that and save the changes and click on the run button again. So now it should automatically open the web page and navigate to the site. And it has clicked on the start button, and now it should read the data in the Excel file in the background, and it should type in the values based on the values in the Excel file. So as you see, while it types, it clicks on the text field using the mouse pointer, and let's see whether it clicks on the button. Yes, so it clicked on the button without the mouse pointer moving. That's because we selected the click as a simulate option for the button click. So that's why it's not using the mouse pointer to click on it. So we can do the same to interact with the text boxes as well. So now you can see that irrespective of the layout, it keeps on entering the data by identifying the text field using the anchor as the label. So in some cases, the submit button goes below the screen, and in such cases, it automatically scrolls down as you see and will locate the button and click on it. So that's how easy we can use the recording feature to interact with any web application or a desktop application without any technical knowledge, and we can easily record the user interactions. So likewise, we can use the same approach when we are working with other applications in our offices by even by a non-technical user to record their activities that they do to interact with the application by using the recording feature. Most of the time, the non-technical users interact with Excel files and they use that data to enter into other web applications like subsystems or any other application that they have in their company. So the recording feature can be very useful for them to easily record the activities and have their own automations done without any technical help. So you can see that it has automatically done the recording and have performed all the 10 rounds without any error using the recording feature. So let's recap. So in today's demo, we identify the basics of recording, and we use the recorder to explore its features and to see how we can record the steps to interact with the web application. And we also discussed the automatically generated workflow and how we can change the properties. And we also explored some of the properties that we have in those activities. So that's the end of today's tutorial. Hope you enjoyed and learned something new. Feel free to contact me for further information on this topic using the contact details you see on the screen. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.